The peace of mind that you get from having insurance that covers things like sickness and weather and baggage delays is worth so much. And this and more is all included with your Chase Sapphire Preferred card as long as you know how to activate these benefits. For the $95 annual fee, I think this has some of the most robust travel benefits, and I can't wait to tell you about them today. Welcome back to Points for Normal People. I'm Katie, and I'm here because I know that travel costs add up, especially for a family. But I believe that travel isn't just for the rich. That's why on Points for Normal People, I share the tips and tricks that our family has been using for over a decade to help you use your everyday expenses and credit card welcome offers to supercharge your travel points so that you can pay for entire vacations every year. Today is part 2 of discussing benefits on the Chase Sapphire Preferred card. Last episode, we discussed the shopping-related benefits. Today, we're going to be focusing in on the travel-related benefits of this card. If you're tuning in for the first time, the reason that we're focused on the Chase Sapphire Preferred is I believe it to be the best beginner card on the market for points. It's also the first card in my 3-year plan, and in Season 1, I'm trying to give everybody a really good foundation with that Chase Sapphire Preferred and other ways that you'll be learning how to use Ultimate Rewards points, which are the currency that you'll earn from your Sapphire Preferred card. Just like last week, I'll be discussing the benefits as well as simple habits that you could start to take advantage of these benefits. I will also discuss some mistakes that you need to avoid, because some people make simple mistakes that prevent these benefits from activating. If you're curious how I know all this, besides having been in the points world for over a decade, it's also because I'm a reader. You know that little booklet that you get when you open a new credit card with all that fine print? I think most people either file it or they recycle it. Few people actually read it. Well, I'm one of those people that actually reads it. Reading that fine print and staying up to date on my benefits helps me get the most out of my cards. You don't have to read all the benefit details. I'll give you a summary of them today. I want to start today with the travel benefit on the Sapphire Preferred that has a really tangible outcome: the $50 per year hotel benefit. First, let's define some terms. This benefit is listed as per card member year. So what's a card member year? A card member year means that whenever you get the card, a clock starts, and you have 12 months to use this benefit. If you don't use the benefit, you'll lose it. When you pay the annual fee after you've had the card for a full year, this benefit will reset and you'll get to use it again. With credit cards, sometimes benefits are tied to a card member year and sometimes they're tied to a calendar year. If a benefit is tied to a calendar year, it means that in any given year, you can use that benefit between January 1st and December 31st. On the next year, on January 1st, the benefit would reset. But again, this $50 hotel credit on the Sapphire Preferred is based on the card member year. If you can't remember if you've used this benefit, you can check by logging into your Chase account on your computer. I haven't found an easy way to do this on the app. After I select my Sapphire card, I usually click on the Redeem link next to where it shows how many Ultimate Rewards I have. This will put you over onto a website that's ultimaterewardspoints.chase.com. And once you're there, you can select on the top menu something that says Rewards Details, and then you'll want Card Benefits. I'm telling you, they do not always make these things easy to find. Okay, so you're there, you're on the Card Benefits section. You're going to scroll halfway down the page, and you should see something that says $50 annual Chase Hotel credit. And it will tell you if you've used it, or how much you've used of it, and when it will expire. Mine just reset, so it shows I have a $50 hotel credit through April 15th, 2025. So let's talk about how to use this benefit easily. Chase Travel operates like any online booking site, like Expedia or Orbitz, which you may be familiar with. To access it, you can log into your Chase account and navigate to the link that says Redeem Points, and then you'll see Travel and should see a link that says Book Travel. If you're on the app, you can click on the bottom, there's a button that says Benefits and Travel, and you'll see a Book Travel button with an airplane icon. With this benefit, if you book a hotel via Chase Travel, you can get a statement credit of up to $50. If you were booking a hotel that only cost $35, you would only get $35 as a statement credit. If you're unfamiliar with statement credits, how it works is that you'd pay the full price for the hotel, and then a few days or weeks later, you'd see another credit on your bill. It's just like a charge for negative $50 and will lower your total amount owed. Essentially, it's like a delayed discount. Now, you may not plan to book a hotel via Chase Travel every year, but there are still ways to use this benefit due to how this perk is currently given. Like I said, this $50 credit is given after you make your Chase Travel booking for a hotel. What we've found anecdotally is that if you later have to cancel your hotel reservation due to a change in plans, Chase doesn't take back the $50 credit once it's given it to you. This could theoretically change in the future, but as of now, it's possible to book a refundable hotel, get the credit, cancel the hotel later, and still get a full refund for the hotel. So let's say the hotel costs $150 and you paid for it via Chase Travel. Then 4 weeks later, you see a $50 hotel credit on your Sapphire Preferred statement. Sometimes these statement credits do take a few weeks to appear. Your out-of-pocket cost is now down to $100 for that hotel. You paid $150, but you got a $50 statement credit. If after that $50 hotel credit appears, you were to decide that you in fact wanted to cancel your hotel reservation, you'd cancel via Chase Travel and receive a full refund for what you paid on their site, a $150 refund. That's because what you paid on the Chase site and the statement credit are different departments, essentially. So even after you cancel and get your $150 refund, nothing typically changes with your $50 statement credit. This is nice to keep in mind if you aren't sure if you'd use your $50 credit otherwise. You can book a hotel that you might use, and if you change your mind, you'd still be able to cancel it and you'd still have gotten your $50 statement credit. This is especially helpful if you're still bothered by the $95 annual fee. If you're able to use that $50 credit, that essentially knocks the $95 annual fee down to $45. So how can you develop a habit to take advantage of this $50 hotel credit? The easiest first step is that anytime you go to book a hotel and you're not using points to book it, you should check Chase Travel to see if you can book there. Not only will you earn 5 points per dollar that you're spending, you'll also be able to use your $50 hotel credit. That $50 hotel credit is one of the most tangible travel benefits that you're getting on this card, besides, of course, the points that you're earning. In addition to this, though, the Sapphire Preferred also comes with some travel insurances and protections. Since we're focused on travel here, you'll want to be aware of these and how to activate them. It's really important to note that these travel protections apply to the person whose name is embossed on the card. This is the language from their fine print. Some of these benefits do also extend to travel companions, usually specifically to family members. So I'll talk about the implications of that fine print as I go through each benefit. First benefit, rental car collision damage waiver. Many people are familiar with the idea that many credit cards provide extra car rental insurance. There are terms associated with this. A few countries are excluded, and you will have to decline any insurance at the rental counter. But it does provide extra protection for you at no extra cost to you, and this is a great perk. If you accidentally scratch a rental car, you're covered. Or you're also covered if you get into a bigger accident. And a lot of cards have similar coverage to this. But one reason the Sapphire Preferred is a little better than most cards providing this coverage is that the coverage it provides is a primary coverage. Most credit cards provide secondary coverage. What that means is that if you get into a crash with your rental car, your personal insurance is billed first. So if you have Allstate or USAA or whatever you pay for car insurance at home, that insurance would be billed by the rental car company. This is a disadvantage because it means if something happens with your rental car, even a smaller scratch that maybe on your own car you might ignore, your insurance rates after this claim will likely increase. After that's billed, other credit card coverage would only kick in after your personal car insurance has been billed first. In the case of the Sapphire Preferred, though, this card has primary rental insurance. That means that if you get into an accident or you have a scrape on the car and have paid for your rental with your Sapphire Preferred card, the credit card coverage will be billed first, which means that your personal insurance doesn't get billed and your personal rates won't be affected. This isn't the only card with this benefit, but it's one of the very few with a relatively low $95 annual fee that has this benefit. But keep in mind, this only applies to the card member whose name is embossed on the card. So if I have a Sapphire Preferred card and I book and I pay for a rental with my Sapphire Preferred card, the driver on that card needs to be me. It needs to be in my name. If I book a car and I list my husband as the primary driver, it would not be covered by my Sapphire Preferred. So the name on the credit card needs to match the name of the primary driver for this coverage to activate. We've made the mistake before where I used one of my cards to pay for a rental in my husband's name. Ultimately, I had to rebook the rental car in my name for a higher fee because we wanted to be sure we had that coverage. I also want to make a side note here that if you use this coverage in other countries, it's pretty common that they will require a hold to be placed on your credit card. This is often called excess and can be a few $1,000s. The first time that we had to pay this, it was really unfamiliar to us. But I just want to say here that that's pretty normal. And if you're refusing a car rental company's insurance, in another country you can often expect to have a large hold put on your card. The salesman will often do a big upsell to try to get you to avoid this extra hold or this excess because they want you to buy their insurance. But if you have a card with good insurance and a high enough credit limit, it shouldn't be a problem to have this hold or this excess put on your card. Another unique protection the Sapphire Preferred card has is baggage delay insurance. Like many of the travel protections I'm going to mention next, this benefit is activated if you pay for a common carrier ticket with your Sapphire Preferred, or as long as you pay for a portion of the ticket. This can mean just paying taxes and fees for your ticket. That's especially relevant as you get into points because when you're paying for an airline ticket with airline miles, anytime you pay for that ticket with miles, like United miles or Southwest points, you still have to pay taxes and fees. Within the US, these fees are very low. They're $5.60 each way. Even by just paying this $5.60 tax and fee with your Chase Sapphire Preferred card, you can activate this insurance. I won't go over all the terms of all of these benefits I'm about to list, but I will link in the show notes where you can read the fine print if you choose to do so. So first, let's talk about this baggage delay insurance. It means that if you check bags and they are delayed more than 6 hours upon arrival, you will be covered for up to $100 per day that the bags are delayed to buy what you need. Usually, this is intended to cover clothes and toiletries and medications. This isn't an upfront cash payout, but is a reimbursement, and you'd need to submit receipts showing the items that you needed to purchase. This $100 per day of delay is for the cardholder, and it also covers family members traveling with them. So let's say we were on a trip and we had checked our bags to France and we got to France and our bags weren't there. If 6 hours pass and our bags still aren't there, we would get $100 for each of us to buy the clothes and toiletries that we might need for that day, so up to $400. If another 24 hours pass, we could get another $100 each for each of our 4 family members if we needed to buy additional items. It's a pretty generous benefit. I actually know people who have been a little excited when their bags get delayed by a few days because they get to buy a few new outfits in a new city. Now, we've never personally filed for this because we have never had a bag get delayed. We're also pretty committed to carry-on bags because I just like to know my bags are going to for sure make it with us. But if you check bags, this is a really good benefit to know about in case your bags do go and get delayed. As an aside, this insurance is secondary to the airline's reimbursement policy, so you may have to file a claim with your airline first, but it's a great option to know that you have it. Again, it is activated if you, as the cardholder, have used your Sapphire Preferred to pay for at least a portion of a ticket for yourself, and family members are included if they're on the same reservation. So you have to make sure that you're booking with that in mind. There are a few more types of protections you can access by booking travel with your Sapphire Preferred: trip cancellation and trip delay. These are also really great benefits for a $95 fee card, and ones you'll want to keep in the back of your mind for those worst case scenarios. For trip cancellation, this is activated if you pay for a part of your trip with your Sapphire Preferred card, and you as the card member need to be going on the trip. This doesn't necessarily need to be a plane ticket. It could also include a hotel for a road trip. You can get up to $10,000 per person or $20,000 per trip reimbursed for non-refundable travel expenses if you need to cancel a trip for a covered reason. So let's talk about a few of those terms. First, there's eligible travel expenses. Those have to be non-refundable and prepaid travel expenses. So this makes sense, right? Because if it was refundable, you would just get a refund when you decided to cancel the trip. It can include things like lodging, rental cars, tours and excursions, as well as cruises or airline or train tickets. Important to note is that this doesn't include event tickets or prepaid tickets to theme parks unless you purchase them as part of a travel package. What is particularly helpful about this benefit is that it covers a lot of situations where you might need to cancel a trip. Some of those include if you or your traveling companions get sick or injured and therefore can't travel. If an immediate family member of yours gets sick or injured and either is in the hospital or needs you to care for them. Severe weather is covered. It's covered if you have jury duty come up. It's also covered if something happens to your home, like it's damaged by a flood or a fire. There are even more scenarios, but personally I think that the severe weather and the injury clauses are the most common. So with trip cancellation, if you need to cancel a trip because you got sick, or if there's a hurricane that's going to be in your destination, you're covered. If an immediate family member gets sick and requires you to be with them in the hospital, you're covered by trip cancellation. With this benefit, you can then recoup the losses from hotels or airfare, even some tours, those things that you booked that are non-refundable. You are even covered if your airline is charging you redeposit fees, which is what some airlines charge to refund miles back to your account. Again, this really helps with peace of mind as you book a trip. The fine print states that the primary cardholder just needs to charge a portion of the trip to the card to qualify for reimbursement on those non-refundable expenses. In addition to trip cancellation, there's also trip delay reimbursement. This has some similarities, but has more to do with what happens if you're on a trip and you can't get home, or if you're delayed in one city on the way to another city. With the Sapphire Preferred, it is activated if your delay is more than 12 hours or requires an overnight stay. Again, you would have had to pay for your ticket or a portion of your ticket with your Sapphire Preferred to activate this. And the person whose name is embossed on the card needs to be one of the people on the trip. This is specific to transportation delays. So your flight is delayed or your train ride is delayed. If you're on a road trip, this can't activate because you need to have purchased a common carrier ticket of some kind to activate this. But what's great about this benefit is that trip delay covers you even in the case of inclement weather. So you may know that airlines aren't required to put you up at a hotel if a flight is delayed overnight for weather. But this benefit provides protection for that. So with trip delay reimbursement, you can get up to $500 for each covered person. This is supposed to cover meals, lodging, and toiletries. If you're coming home and your flight is delayed overnight due to a thunderstorm, you don't have to sleep at the airport. You can book a hotel and go out to a decent dinner knowing that you have $500 per person to book a room and get meals. Like all of these protections, I hope you never have to use them, right? But knowing you have these extra protections included on your card makes setting out on a trip a little less stressful. I know this might feel like a whirlwind of benefits I'm listing for you between last week and this week, but I want to make sure you know them because they're so valuable to have and to know about. So what are some action steps that you can take to make sure you're not missing out on these benefits? First, the $50 hotel credit. This one is easy to forget, and if you don't feel like bothering with it, you can absolutely ignore it. There are some years when I personally have used this, and some years I have not used it. I don't really stress too much about this one because the Sapphire Preferred is well worth the $95 fee to me. But if you'd like to be sure you're getting this benefit, you should log into your Chase account to check the date that yours will reset. I'd recommend that you make a note in your calendar for about 2 months before this date to remind yourself to use this benefit. This gives you time to try to use up that benefit and get that $50 credit. Remember that if you make a refundable hotel reservation, you'll get that $50 credit. And even if you have to later cancel the hotel reservation, your $50 credit seems to still stick in your account. So there isn't really a risk in booking a refundable reservation. Next, in regard to travel protections. Now that you know about the travel protections included on the Sapphire card, make sure that you're paying for taxes and fees on airline tickets with your Sapphire Preferred. If you have another premium card like the Venture X, that works too, but just be consistent about whatever you're using. That way, if you do need to file a claim, it will be easier to do. Remember that the person going on the trip needs to be the one with the card. Make sure that when you're booking travel arrangements, you're using the card that is in the name of the person who is going on the trip. If you always travel as a family, you'll be fine. You'll be covered as family members. But if you and your partner or spouse travel independently, you'll want to each have a card where you are the primary card holder that has these benefits. That way you can make sure that you're both always covered. This is especially true for rental cars and plane tickets. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time where we'll keep unlocking these secrets of travel points together.